Yo, what's up? We are back for our second live stream of the day. I had to end the one earlier this morning rather abruptly. So here I am again because there is a lot that we need to discuss. First, New York, Zohran Mamdani, newly elected mayor of New York, prepares New York for what I'm calling the new Muslim slave trade. Also, Tariq Nasheed, famous grifter, con artist, etc., and his FBA minions are rebranding. They realize that reparations is a failure. It's not happening. So I'm going to tell you how they have now pivoted and are seeking to remain relevant. And last but not least, we're going to have a bit of an education. The Supreme Court has ruled against Donald Trump's international tariffs. I'm going to break that down, explain to you what that means. I'll break down Trump's response to it, and we'll get into why people are celebrating that. It makes no sense. If you guys have comments, you want to jump up and discuss any of these topics, I'm going to throw the link into the comments during, while I'm talking. Click the link and come up, because once I'm done on a topic, if I don't see anybody in the bottom who wants to discuss, I'm going to just move on to the next topic. We got 3 hot topics for tonight. Let's get into the first one. Okay, so New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani is he's a communist. He ran on the platform of Democrat socialism, much like someone like Bernie Sanders. He was endorsed and praised by Bernie Sanders and by liberals who believe that Democrat socialism is the future of America. No matter how much we warn these people, no matter how many times we attempt to call their attention to the historical record that has proven time and time again that socialism is an absolute failure. It never works. These people continue to do what I call chasing the carrot. Recently, I love watching old movies. I love watching movies from when I was a kid, where I remember the movie, but I was so young that I really didn't understand I didn't really have a full grasp of the message of movies. So the other day I was rewatching for the first time in about 30 years, Mad Max and the Thunderdome. This is a movie about a post-apocalyptic future. It stars Mel Gibson and Tina Turner, right? Great movie, watch it. In the movie, after being captured by Tina Turner and her minions, the main character, Mad Max, he is sent off into the desert on a horse. His hands are tied. He's mounted on the horse. They slap the horse on the butt, and the horse starts walking out into the desert. Well, in front of the horse, they put a stick with a string, and at the end of the string was a little glass jar of water, right? And basically, the horse, as it began to get thirsty, it would continue to walk into the desert because it sees the water at the end of the string, and it believes that it will, at some point, be able to reach the water and drink. It's thirsty. Common sense, right? Well, the horse is not a super intelligent animal, so the horse doesn't realize that it's never going to reach the water. So it continues to walk and walk and walk until it eventually dies in the middle of the desert. This is what I call chasing the carrot, because in past times they would use a carrot or a piece of a fruit or a vegetable to get an animal to continue to walk, even though the animal was it was tired. It was still thinking that it could reach that unreachable or that unachievable goal. This is what socialists are doing. They know socialism won't work. People all around them are giving them examples of why socialism will never work. But the appeal of free stuff, getting things for free, is too strong to get them to stop what they're doing, reverse course, change course, and start working with people within their city to achieve things or pursue these goals in ways that are effective, right? So they're just chasing. I want to turn away. I don't want to vote for Zoran Mamdani, but he's telling us that he's going to give us free health care. I know that what Zoran Mamdani says doesn't make sense, but he's telling us he's going to give us free buses and free transportation, right? And so they continue to vote Democrat, aka communist, because they have hope that even though there's really no logical path to achieving any of this stuff, they have hope that this stuff will be given to them. It's kind of like religious people, Christians, or like Muslims or like Christians, when they say, oh, you're going to give, like when Jesus says, I'm going to give you everlasting life. Okay, you don't know anyone who had everlasting life. You don't know anyone who got like healed in the name of Jesus or any of that, anything like that. But your faith in the fact that Jesus can save you and that he can heal you, right? It's based on hope. I hope this is true. So I'll spend my whole life pursuing this in the hope that this is true. That's what religion is. And we know that hope is a very powerful drug. It's a very powerful motivator. Your granny been going to church, sitting in the front row from the time she was 5 to the time she was 85. Ain't really seen or talked to Jesus yet. Ain't seen a miracle, none of that. But she's going to continue to go because she has that hope. Well, that's what politics and socialism and communism has become for a lot of these people. It's no longer a political ideology. It's a religion now to these people. All their hopes and dreams rest on the idea that one day their political messiah is going to come and just bestow free everything upon them. And then they're not going to have to work or feel like they're poor or less than. He's going to come and make all people equal. No big shots, no little shots, just shots. And that's what they're going for. And people like men like Zoran Mamdani are preying on this type of ignorance. They're preying on these people's ignorance, on these people's political ignorance, on the fact that these people aren't really well versed in politics, let alone economics. And they say, hey, look, they're gullible. They're not doing any research. They're not educated on this. So I'm just going to keep exploiting that for my personal gain. But here's the problem. You cannot have socialism without slavery. There's a book that was written years back called Capitalism and Slavery. Somebody needs to write a book called Socialism and Slavery, because socialism is hinged on the idea that everything will be free. But in order for everything to be free, someone has to be willing to work for no pay to create the free things. Or you're going to have to steal from someone, right, who is working, so that you can give what you've taken from them to other people for free. Either you're going to force people to work as slaves, like Mao Zedong did, or you're going to steal from the rich to give to the poor, like Robin of Locksley, right? So when you look at the situation in New York that's unfolding, Zoran has promised all these free things: free buses, free childcare, free health care, et cetera, et cetera. Hold on. So he's promised people all this free stuff. Now Zoran has to figure out a way to pay for all this stuff. And that's where he's getting himself in trouble. And that's why he has the city of New York turning on him, because he promised all these poor people or working class people all this free stuff. but he planned on paying for it by just taxing the rich and the large corporations like Brandon Johnson in Chicago. But once he got elected, all those people abandoned New York. They just left. They said, you're not going to tax us into oblivion. And they got the hell out of New York. So now he is faced with the task of either getting the money from the state government, Kathy Hochul, convincing her to impose a tax on rich New Yorkers throughout the state and corporations throughout the state, or he's going to be forced to do what Brandon Johnson had to do, which is tax the very working class, middle class voters that he told he would give free stuff and make things more affordable for them. So he's really in a conundrum. Or he could just dial back his proposed spending. He could just shrink his proposed budget, and then no one would have to pay anything. Just manage the finances that he already has and the finances that the revenue that he's gonna bring in, so that he can afford to run the city. But he's not gonna do that. He's definitely gonna do everything he can to live up to his promises of socialism. Socialism or bust at this point. Check out this video.
One of the things that happened in Africa.
Zoran Mamdani is issuing an ultimatum in an effort to close the city's massive budget gap. He's calling on New York Governor Kathy Hochul to raise taxes on the city's wealthiest people, or he'll have to increase property taxes by nearly 10%.
The options of the second path are the options of last resort, options that we will only employ if there is no other means of arriving at a balanced budget.
So I guess he's asking, what's a 2% tax increase on a multimillionaire?
If you're already the highest tax jurisdiction in America, it's a massive tax. You know, what I love about this guy, and I'm giving him credit, he goes big. He goes big, and he's got a fantastic social media team. This is great. This is bat poo-poo crazy, what he is proposing. And probably sometime next year, within 12 to 18 months, I will meet him in Miami and give him Real Estate Agent of the Year award. Because I'm not happy with what's happening. I can't get across the bridge anymore. I live in Miami Beach. Everybody from New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts is moving into my neighborhood. I'm pissed off. And this guy's just doing more of it. What he's proposing is beyond insane, but I love it.
You are
now,
very
I'm like everybody else.
Okay, so Kevin O'Leary is like an investment guy. He's a real estate investor. He's telling you, look, I live in Florida. I live and operate every day among the top 1%. And I'm telling you, the 1% that Zoran Mamdani planned on taxing in New York is leaving New York. They would rather move, totally leave the state, than pay even 2 or 3% more taxes. Because if you're a multi-billionaire, you're paying taxes on billions of dollars. Even to raise that 1% is a lot. To raise it 3% is unthinkable. So they would rather just leave the state. It's their right as Americans to leave and move out of state. We're dealing with the same thing in California, where Gavin Newsom is trying to raise taxes on the rich. Well, Gavin Newsom is actually against a wealth tax, but there are other people who want to do a wealth tax. And so the wealthy are leaving. Mark Zuckerberg has left. The CEO of In-N-Out has left. Elon Musk left a long time ago. Hell, even Joe Rogan left. So we know this pattern. And what the pattern is quickly becoming is this. Democrats run on affordability. How are you going to make things more affordable? We're going to make things more affordable by raising the taxes on the rich, taking their money, and using that money to fund programs, free programs for the poor and the working class. But then once the Democrat gets elected, once all these poor people say, yeah, let's put him in, he gets elected, the rich leave, and he says, well, they say, well, the rich left. We still have to implement this budget because this is quote unquote what the people wanted. So now we have to tax the middle class to get the money and create the programs. When in reality, The people didn't want that. The people wanted you to tax the rich and give them money and the benefits over to them. That's what the middle class and the working class and the poor people wanted. They didn't want to be taxed to fund the programs that you told them that you were going to give them for free. At that point, it is no longer free. It's deception. When the Democrat voters are going to pick up on this is beyond me, but I understand why it's hard for them to pick up on it, because look at the news they watch. Look at CNN. Instead of addressing what Kevin O'Leary is saying and analyzing, the nature of it, is it factual or is it fiction? Instead, Abby Phillips says, "Oh, you're really dramatic today," trying to just blow him off as if what he's saying isn't absolute facts.
Now, listen, you guys live here. You're not paying your fair share.
I don't live here.
You've got to pay 110%. That's the right thing to do, because he's not cutting spending.
No, but
he's just going to tax you into oblivion.
Hey everybody, James Johnson here, and today is the day at 5 p.m. we are having a rally, hands off our homes, right here on Francis Lewis Boulevard and Springfield Boulevard at 5 p.m. Listen,
this is why I get so pissed off with black men, these beta males, these religious types and all that. I cannot fucking stand these people. When Zohran Mamdani was running, these dudes are not dumb. These are intelligent people. They can read, they can do research. When Zohran Mamdani was running, anybody who could read or had a cell phone could have quickly done research on what he was proposing and then looked up what political analysts and experts said would be the results of that, which is he was proposing free stuff, raising taxes on the rich. And you can look over to Chicago, same exact plan. You could look over to Seattle. I forgot the girl's name, Katie Porter or whatever. Same exact shit, same exact thing. If they did it and the rich abandoned those places, what made Zohran Mamdani or the black people like this dude who voted for him think that if he did it, it would not have the same effect? Now, black folks are doing what black folks always do. We voted to put in the damn dictator communist. Now our response, now that he's coming for our coin, because the harebrained scheme to eat the rich didn't work, and it's never worked, now we're going to hold a rally like that's about to do something. If the damn governor of the state is telling Zohran, look, man, this ain't a good idea, don't do this, and he's not listening to her, and she actually has control over him, what on earth makes you think that she's about to listen to your black ass and a couple of idiots standing outside in the snow? He's not listening to you. He's going to say, shut your ass up and pay these taxes or lose your home. And your granny and your no good baby mama better shut their ass up and pay their taxes or they're going to lose their home. They put Zohran in, they look, they got finessed by Zohran. Now that Zohran has come into power in the rich left, Zohran has turned into a guerrilla pimp. He ain't asking for it. He ain't begging for it. He taking it. He's telling people either Kathy Hochul's going to put a wealth tax on the whole state or I'm raising y'all property taxes 10%, which for a lot of these people already paying ridiculously high property taxes in New York, that's going to be crazy. If your property taxes are, let's say your property taxes are like $20,000 a year, they throwing an extra $2,000 on top of that. Even if your property taxes are $10,000 a year, they throwing an extra $2,000 on that. I mean, an extra $1,000 on that. I don't know about y'all, but between $10,000 and $11,000, that's a big jump when it comes to additional spending. You didn't pay your mortgage all year. Now they just gonna throw an extra $12,000 on top of that. Come on, bro. That's not chump change we talking about. But now all of a sudden, and somebody here in the comments, my girl, Real Goddess Masterpiece, good to see you. I used to live in Cambria Heights. It's mostly Caribbeans, Haitians, and Jamaicans. However, the rabbi is buried close by, so all the Jews are buying black people out. Well, here's the thing too. Jamaicans and Haitians and all them, they vote for this type of socialist bullshit. They vote for the guy who's like, yeah, let's let the immigrants stay, because a lot of them are immigrants and a lot of them are legally there. So their legal friends, family members support people like Zoran. But little did they know that if Zoran wasn't able to get the money from the rich, he was going to come for their money via taxes. Now they scared. Oh, we going to have a rally. Good luck. Good luck.
The proposed budget that's going out that they are going to try to increase property taxes by 9.5%. This affects all of Southeast Queens, not just right here in Cambria Heights. We're using Cambria Heights, for example, because it's been here since the late 60s. Black people have been living here as home ownerships. City Hall cannot, this is off the table. You cannot increase property taxes in New York City. It's already too expensive now to live here. This will make sure we are displaced all across Southeast Queens and all across the city.
We don't want to be the football in whatever political games you guys are playing. Keep your hands off our houses. Keep your hands off our community. My name is Austin Bryan, resident of Southeast Queens. Thank you, Brother James.
The mayor, with the greatest respect, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
Giving only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I got to increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Zoran Mamdani, you are out your goddamn mind.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Okay, so now these guys want to stand up. Where were these guys? Where were these guys when Zoran Mamdani was running for mayor? Where were these guys when the ladies were voting for Zoran, talking about, oh yeah, he's cute? See, the white college students who don't own shit, their parents pay their bills. They voted for this guy to come in and do this to you. And because you're ignorant and because you weren't raised properly, you thought that, yeah, they gonna take it from the rich and just give it to us. These black people are the type who do that. They're homeowners, they have good jobs, but they're always looking for a way to fuck somebody over so they can get a leg up. These be the most greediest people. I'm telling you, in my life, I have found that more affluent blacks entertain stuff like socialism because they're always looking for how they could get something free from the government. Always. The average tax rate in New York right now is like 20%, right? 20% of the assessed value of the home, right? So then these guys are paying about $12,000. They're paying about $12,000 a year already. They're paying about $12,000 a year already in taxes. Zoran wants to raise that 9.5%. That's basically 10%. And if you watched, I don't know exactly how the tax laws work in New York, but if you look at what happened in Chicago, Brandon Johnson raised some of the poorest people in Chicago's taxes, their property taxes, by 100%. So even the 9.5% number, I don't believe is the true number. I believe the tax increase is going to be way more than that. And they know it. But now that their shit is threatened, now they want to come out and speak out against City Hall. See, when City Hall was just preying on the rich or the people with more than them, it was like, it's cool. Yeah, for sure. Let it happen. But now that they're coming for them, and I'm telling you, these are all city employees. Mark my words. These people work for the city of New York. The vast majority of them. That's what I believe. I'm not 100% sure. But if I had to bet on it, I would bet that these people work for the city of New York. Because the average person working a regular job in New York cannot afford to buy a home. They can't. And they'll never be able to afford to buy a home. So what you have here is not only is Zoran Mamdani raising the taxes on the current homeowners who are black, he's also putting the hope of home ownership out of reach for millions more New Yorkers, because they like, man, even if I could somehow finagle shit to get the money to get the house, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to pay those taxes year after year. Tell me, just raise your hand. At the end of the year, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, back to school. By the time the end of the year come, which one of y'all got $14,000 extra dollars just laying around? Yep, city employees and nurses, right? Which one of y'all, who of us, has $14,000, $15,000 just laying around? If we got it, it's like, bro, that's like all the money I got. That's my like savings. Okay, take that and throw it, just pay it in taxes to Zohar Mamdani. It's absolutely stupid. It's stupid. And then I love the Real Goddess Masterpiece. She says, Azazel, she's like, the free grocery store is a glorified food pantry. That already closed down. He opened up the free grocery store and it closed down. I believe it closed down a couple weeks after it opened. All he's doing is hitting a checklist. I said I would do this, check. 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 Okay, all that stuff fell through. Now I'm about to just start taxing the shit out of you like Brandon Johnson is doing over in Chicago. But black folks fell for it and they voted for it. Because it's all good as long as it only affects someone else. But like I told you in the last live stream, when you dig a hole, Proverbs 26, I think, or 27 chapter, when you dig a hole for somebody else, beware that you don't fall in it. They plotted on their neighbors. They plotted on their rich neighbors simply because their rich neighbors have more than they have more than they do. So they said, look, we gonna beat them up and kill. There's this, man, and I'm not trying to go too far into this, but listen, there's this illustration in the Bible about a man who owned a vineyard. And he sent his son out to check on the vineyard and check on the workers. And they captured him and they beat him up and they killed him, right? The man said, surely if I sent, first he sent a servant. They beat up the servant. The rich man said, okay, I'm going to send my son. Surely if I send my son, they'll have respect for my son because he's my son. He's part of me. They killed the son. That's what these bastards do. They see the rich and they look at the rich like, yeah, we could just do anything to them because they got more than us. They dug a hole for the rich. And when it got time for the rich to walk and fall into the hole, the rich saw the hole. They got out of Dodge. And now these fools is sitting in the hole crying in the snow, in jackets, about 12 of them out there talking about, you can't come for our taxes. No one's going to rally with you. No one's going to rally with you. And it's just like I told my friend Maggie today. Everybody is rich to somebody. If you got $10 in your pocket to a bum who ain't got nothing, you're rich. So when you start this shit like prey on the rich, prey on the rich. Well, as the people richer than you leave, you become the rich. Because the guy or the woman who's living in a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 kids on food stamp is looking at this dude who's probably a city worker driving the snowplow, or the lady behind him who's probably a city worker working in the zoning, or the lady behind her who's probably a nurse making $150,000, $200,000 a year doing overtime. The lady in the 1-bedroom with the 3 kids is looking at them like they're rich. You're rich to her. So now when Zoran go next election and say, well, yeah, we're going to screw them over now for you, she going to say, cool, bet, let's do it. Let's do it. And then you're going to leave, right? And then when they get to the point where they no longer have anyone else to tax and fuck over, then that's when the slavery starts. That's the way socialism works. Then they start telling people, well, look, we got no more rich people to screw over. We got no more middle class people to screw over. So it's only the poor folks left. Okay, well, you 20, y'all gonna have to volunteer at the food pantry 40 hours a week. And in exchange for you volunteering, we're gonna give you food. You're gonna be looking like, wait. I gotta volunteer to get the free food, but all the people who I work for and give the food to every day, they getting the free food for nothing, for free, no volunteer hours. Then they're going to tell somebody else, yeah, and you got to go work at the free daycare. You got to work the free daycare for 40 hours a week. And then y'all over here, y'all got to go work and drive the bus for free for 40 hours a week. That's socialism. It always devolves into slavery once you take everything once you take everything from the people who have money, who have resources. Like Margaret Thatcher said, socialism always worked, but eventually you run out of other people's money. And that's what's going on. But in America, we so damn free, dog. We got the freedom to just say, oh, look, a socialist took over the city. We're leaving. Now you don't have other people's money to even start to spend. So now you got to find the money. And the people who end up suffering are the people who can't afford to leave. These fools ain't rich. They can't just jump up and be like, let's go. And if they try to sell the houses that they own, who the hell is really trying to buy a house in New York? An overpriced house in a shithole like New York. Nobody's trying to buy a house over there. So they're stuck. They have to stay there. Now they're scared. Let me read this. You're right about black folks that's well-to-do in New York City, our city, state, and federal workers. They get first dibs on the projects, voucher programs, and the apartment lotteries. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course they do, because they work for the city. They know it's coming through the pipeline. They see everything. They just say, hey, make sure I win this one or win that one. But what I want to show you guys right now, if you still with me, I want to show you what you're paying for. So if you're in New York, I want to show you why your property taxes are getting raised. I want to show you what they were trying to take money from the rich for. It's the most asinine shit ever. Let's play this.
With tax increases.
Racial equity, 4.6 million, commission on racial equity, 835,000, commission on gender equity, 260,000 for Department of Education, Chief Diversity Officer, 301,000 for 3 FDNY civilian Chief Diversity Inclusion Officers. There's a title for you.
Okay, so look at this. This is what Zoran needs this money for. So he's created this humongous budget that he can't pay for. So the rich are leaving, so he can't raise taxes on them, right? He can't get city council to pass a law saying, yeah, we're going to raise taxes on the rich, whatever. He went to Kathy Hochul. Okay, you need to make a wealth tax throughout the state and then kick us down some money. She's like, I'm not doing it. She's in a re-election year. She's not about to alienate her rich donors and the business owners and business interests of New York State. But this is what he wants to pay for. $127 billion is his budget. His budget is larger than the entire budget of the state of Florida and the entire budget of the state of Pennsylvania. The entire state, mind you. This man is running a city and is proposing a budget that is bigger than the budget for entire states like Florida, like Pennsylvania, Idaho, Missouri. This man got a bigger budget for one city than for a whole than the budget of entire states, y'all. This don't even make sense, right? Okay, so now he's proposing this big ass budget, and this is what he's proposing. This is what it's for. He wants to spend $5.6 million to create the Office of Racial Equity. What does the Office of Racial Equity do? What exactly do you do? What does I work down at the Office of Racial Equity. He needs $5.6 million. If this man hired 20 people and paid them all $100,000 a year, that would only be $2 million. If this man paid him $120,000 a year, that would only be like $3 million, $3.2 million. What does this man need damn near $6 million for an Office of Racial Equity? Then, look, then he wants another $4.6 million, right? So this puts this at $10 million. He wants another $4.6 million for the Commission on racial equity. So he not only has the office for racial equity, he then creates the commission for racial equity. Y'all, make that make sense. So right there, $10 million for just bullshit. Let's be real, bull crap. Then he wants another $260K, right, for the Department of Education Chief Diversity Officer. He wants the diversity officer. He needs $260,000 for that. So one guy is going to make $260K a year as a diversity officer. Then he wants another $301K for 3 Fire Department of New York civilian chief diversity inclusion officers. Guys, this is how they launder money. This is how they launder money. Understand that. Understand that. This is how you steal from the political coffers in 2026. You just create a bunch of departments and offices for shit that isn't real, and then you hire your friends to work there. Everybody working in all these offices will be personal friends or friends of Zohran Mamdani. So he is bankrupting New Yorkers. He is gonna basically kick people out of their homes so that he could create a bunch of pork barrel spending, a bunch of nonsense, fake, made up damn departments, so he can pay his friends and his friends of friends and his friends of friends' kids and stuff to do nothing and get paid for it. That's what this is all about. It's right here in front of your face. You got all these people, yeah, Pan-Africanism, we need socialism. Dude, this is it right here. This what y'all want to bring to Africa? Bullshit? Well, this is already going on in Africa. It's not going on under the guise of socialism, but if you want to call it socialism to make you feel better about it, about being hoodwinked and bamboozled, be my guest. Call it whatever you want to. You can fillet it in fast food if you really want to. $5.6 million for the Office of Racial Equity. Somebody grandma and mama gonna get kicked up out of their house because they can't pay the taxes. So this fool could create the Department for Education Chief Diversity Officer. So one of his friends could make damn near $300,000 a year. Why did y'all even get rid of Eric Adams at this point? That's all I'm saying.
And $118,000 for an FDNY Chief Diversity Inclusion Officers. Is that necessary stuff? You can't cut that back?
And a list of things to do when it comes to public safety? Absolutely not. Public safety's got to be in the top of your list. So we can't pay for everything. Everything can't be for free. But what you need is cops out in the street. Tell me how all these programs are going to help when you're getting robbed in the middle of the street.
Yeah, and
how that works.
Yeah, you tell me. Believe me, he's about to find out, sadly. Mamdani's progressive agenda includes new budgets items like $750,000 for art and cultural fund, $800,000 for anti-ageism,
$800,000 for anti-ageism fund, $750,000 for art and cultural fund. What? Oh my God. This is just so ridiculous. You are affecting people's lives over frivolous bullshit that don't matter and don't nobody care about. There's not a single serious thing in there. This guy, Mamdani, is about to fire 5,000 NYPD new hires. He's about to get rid of 5,000 police officers off the streets of New York. Could you imagine what crime is going to look like?
$37 million for child care vouchers, LGBTQ emergency for $2 million. It goes on. And you pointed out his climate change budget. What's
$437 million for child care vouchers. Think about that. $437 million for child care vouchers. Who you think that's for? The birth rate in the Black community dropping. The birth rate in the white community dropping. Who do you think $437 million for child care vouchers is for? And I promise you, it's not because Mom Donnie love the kids and he just want to make sure you got free child care when you go to work. That's his way of buying immigrant votes. Because we know that the immigrants are the ones having the most children. And you know, for the ones who want to work or don't want to work, but want their kids to have a free babysitter, they want this type of shit. Unlimited child care. And they'll vote for someone to get it. 800,000. Oh yeah, anti-ageism. $2 million, right? For what's called an LGBTQ emergency fund. What is that? What is that? This guy's literally, he made a budget. This is all fraud. This is all fraud. All this money is about to go directly in the pockets of the people who helped get Mom Donnie elected. And this is why they got him elected. This is why a political outsider was able to come into the city and say, you know what? Let me run for mayor, and boom, I'm mayor now. Because there are enough special interests who are going to profit off of this. Let me tell you something. The little LGBTQ organizations and stuff, they already got their little fake companies created already to receive this money. They already got their little NGOs ready to receive all this money. This is the same type of shit Gavin Newsom is doing in California. But I want to bring up okay, so I want to bring up something too right here, right? Have you guys So I'm calling this the new slaves. This is Mamdani getting ready for the new slaves, right? And let me tell you why. Now we about to get into the meat, and then we're going to move on to the next subject. But let me give y'all the link in the comments just in case y'all want to come up and say something. If you come up, you know, be concise, be cool, and drop your point. Okay. So the link is in the comments. Let me tell you why I'm calling this the new slaves. If you look at what Mamdani is doing, he's trying to prepare New York City for the new Muslim slave trade. Just think about it. Take a second to wrap your head around what he's doing. He's doing the food pantry. That's free food. He's doing the child care vouchers, $500 million in child care vouchers. That's free child care, right? He's trying to do the free housing, right? He's trying to take over people's apartment buildings. He's trying to take over apartment buildings from private owners and make them city-owned buildings, right? Think about this, bro. When you was a slave, black folks, when you were a slave, massa got free labor from you from can't see in the morning to can't see at night. But what did massa have to give you in return? He didn't give you a paycheck. You was a slave. But what he did was he provided for your basic needs. What do you need? You need food to eat. It don't got to be the best food, but you need something to eat. You got to have shelter. It ain't got to be a nice house. It can just be a shack, right? Somewhere where you don't got to sleep outside. Something with a roof over your head. Then when you had kids, he had to designate a slave to be the mammy, to watch those kids while the other slaves was out working in the fields. That's what Zohran Mamdani is creating. He's preparing New York for socialist slavery. You come to New York, you're going to work for damn near nothing, right? We're going to give you a free house. We're going to watch your little bastards, and we're going to give you some free food at the food pantry. But in exchange for that, you're going to have to basically work for free. And guess what? You know, no American is going to settle for that. They're going to leave. They want to get paid. He going to say, well, fine, fuck you. Bring the immigrants in. And the immigrants are okay to take that, at least for a little while. They like you saying we get to go to America, get free food, free childcare, because you know they're gonna bring their kids with them. We're gonna get free food, free childcare, free housing, and we gonna have to go work for crumbs, but the crumbs we work for is gonna be way more than what we working for down in South America. He's literally preparing the city for socialist slavery. That's what's going on. And it's going to be in the socialist slave budget. The money it costs for him to feed and house the slaves is going to be paid by New York City homeowners. And if you try to leave, he's going to do you. They're going to start doing you like California is now trying to do, where when you try to leave, they try to track you and then tax you for the year. Like they'll do like preemptive tax, like, oh, you leaving California? Well, yeah, before you leave, you got to pay taxes for the next 5 years all right now. Then you can go. Yeah, the illegal are coming up big in New York City because that's the slave class. That's the slave class. They're not going to give them citizenship. People think that they want the illegals there, so they can vote and rig elections. That's not why they want the illegals there. They want the illegals there so they can secure more seats in Congress, never give them citizenship, and have a permanent slave class that never complains, never asks for more rights, never unionizes, and never expects anything more than the crumbs that they're giving them. Their children will be legal. But that slave class, that illegal immigrant slave class, that'll hold New York and big cities over for the next 20 to 40 years. Why do you think they're trying to let them in as kids? Why do you think they're trying to let in military age males? Why? Why do you think that? I'm telling you, you know who's going to get rid of the naturalized citizenship? The Democrats are going to get rid of naturalized citizenship. You think Trump is going to get rid of naturalized citizenship? No, the Democrats are going to get rid of that because they're going to say, look, if we get rid of naturalization, right, or birthright, I'm talking about naturalized, birthright citizenship. If we get rid of birthright citizenship, they can never be citizens and they'll always be slaves for us. The Democrats are going to get rid of birthright citizenship. Mark my words, within the next 2 presidential terms, if Democrats get elected, they will run on, once they overrun the city with illegals, the cities in the country with illegals, they're going to say, okay, y'all, we got to get rid of birthright citizenship. They're going to be illegal. We got to keep them illegal, and we got to make sure their kids are illegal too. Because once they get the seats in Congress, based on the census, which counts legals and illegals, right? Legal citizens and illegals. Once they do that, they're going to take over the Congress because they're going to have more seats. And that's when they're going to start doing the job of not getting rid of the illegals. They're just going to make it to where the illegals will never be on equal footing with American citizens. They can never become president. They can never vote because if they let them vote, there's a chance that they could vote against Democrats. They don't want a new voter base. They just want the bodies in their cities so they can continue to gain more representation in Congress. That's all it's about. Okay, so we know. And let me tell you, where do we see this? Remember the 3/5 compromise? Do you know your history? The 3/5 compromise, where the South, because they wanted to have a legislative advantage over the North, they wanted to count their slaves. They actually wanted to allow their slaves, like they wanted their vote to count for their slaves as well. Like if I vote for a Democrat, like, okay, say I'm a slave owner and I got 20 slaves. Okay, I'm voting for Abraham Lincoln to be president. Well, my slaves, they in the states, they in the country. My vote should have more power because not only am I voting for me, I'm voting on behalf of all my slaves. And they made the 3/5 compromise where they said that every 3 slaves would count for 1 vote towards whatever political legislation or political race that was going on at the time. They made a compromise. We're not counting all these slaves one for one, man for man. But what we will say is 3 slaves count as 1 white man vote. And in that way, the Southern landowners, they were able to have like a stronger position politically, right? They didn't want to give the slaves the right to vote. They didn't want to give the slaves suffrage, but they wanted their slaves' bodies to count towards what they wanted as a vote. They decided what the slaves' vote per se was going to go towards. This is the same type of shit. This is exactly the same stuff Democrats have been doing for 250 years. This is the same thing. Yeah, we don't want the illegals to actually count one for one, but when it comes to the census, their bodies count towards how many representatives we get. This is the deeper understanding we teaching today, and I hope everybody is picking up what I'm putting down. That's their plot. And in order for them to do that, they have to incentivize the slaves to enter the country. Nobody wants to come from Venezuela and be homeless on the streets of Los Angeles. I don't know if you guys are watching the Nick Shirley interviews. He's in California right now. He's on Skid Row interviewing Venezuelan migrants, Mexican immigrants and stuff living on Skid Row. And they're literally like, we would rather just go back home than stay down here and be homeless. But the Democrats can't have them leave, so they're offering them a bunch of free stuff. And you're paying for it. The white liberal Becky is signing you up without you even knowing to pay for all this shit. Because she's voting in the socialist. And the black beta male, he right there behind her voting. Yeah, I'd rather vote for a Muslim than a white man, Hamdulillah, and all this other bull crap. Selling itself up the river.
He's spending on that.
Yeah, so this is the affordable.
But just like Greg Foreman's going to bring out, this is what they sold to you as affordability. Affordability for who? Oh, yeah, illegal immigrants. They're the only ones at the end of the day who are going to be able to afford anything. And watch this as these New Yorkers are now looking stupid because they are finding out that what they voted for is now putting everything they've built at risk. This is so crazy.
Only 49 days since Mayor Mamdani took office, powered by the promise of making the nation's largest city more affordable. But now he's floating this idea of raising property taxes for all. And New Yorkers, well, we know they're never shy to share their own opinions. Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim with their message for the mayor tonight.
I don't plan to move. It's my home. I'm not leaving.
This 2-story single-family home in Cambria Heights is Vivian Campbell's American dream come true. His starter home that has become his forever home.
The greatest thing to happen to me.
He bought it just after graduating college in the 1990s. If you step inside, he even has a stack of CDs to prove it. The retired real estate professional who was on a fixed income recently poured almost $35,000 into a new front porch and a new roof. But now with Mayor Mamdani proposing a property tax increase, he feels duped.
Do you feel like he lied to you?
He'll not feel. He lied. Not feel.
Oh, the socialist lied to you? He lied to you? Oh, you.
Yep. He clearly, you hear his accent. He's either an immigrant or the son of immigrants. He voted for Mamdani. Yeah, I feel sorry for the immigrants because me parents were in immigrants man, or me, I'm an immigrant man. Yes, Vivian, but you are a legal immigrant. You're over here fighting for illegal immigrants. Nah, this fool's like a Jamaican. He's a Caribbean. He's from one of them islands. Definitely, 100%. With a name like Vivian, bro probably is from the Bahamas or something like that. But listen. This dude voted for Zoran. He votes Democrat because he sympathizes with illegal immigrants because he is either an immigrant himself, legally or the descendant or son of immigrants. That's cool. But now he's realizing, oh shit, this dude lied to me. Because if you're a legal immigrant, if you're a legal immigrant or the son or daughter of immigrants, you've been in America long enough to where now you have American standards and American expectations. You're not going to go work for $7.75 an hour under the table and have to kick back the boss $100 a week off your paycheck. You're not doing that. But now he realizes, damn, this dude lied to me. He said, this dude didn't kind of lie to me. He straight up lied. This is why you got to leave your third world mindset behind you when you come to America. Because they will exploit the shit out of you.
Property tax increase, he feels duped.
Do you feel like he lied to you?
He'll not feel. He lied.
He lied.
Oh, the socialist lied to you? He lied to you? Oh, you surprised? You shocked?
You surprised?
You shook? Huh? Interesting. I don't feel bad for these people. I really don't. I don't feel bad for these people. How do you get fooled by these socialists? We tried to warn you.
The dozens of homeowners in Southeast.
Hey, 100%. My sentiments match Greg's exactly. We tried to warn you. We're still trying to warn you. And we're getting called coons, house niggas, and everything else. Guys, look, my channel used to be booming. I used to get all the views. Cool. Soon as I started warning people about the truth about Democrats, these con artists, these communists and socialists, a lot of people stopped watching me. Why? They want to live in a fantasy. And that's okay. I'm not playing along with it. I don't believe that you can mutilate a kid's genitalia and say that you're doing it in the name of gender affirming care. No one has to watch me at all. I'm not going to trade in my values and my morals and put my mind in my sock just so I could be a part of the crowd. I've never been that guy. But now, guess what? These people are finding out. Real quick, let me get this super chat. Shout out to my brother, man. KP from KC, now reading Color, Communism, and Common Sense. That's a good book. I'm going to read it. Color, Communism, and Common Sense. Man, hey, look, you would have never thought that you would even need a book with that title. But Common Sense is lost. Look at Vivian ass out there on the left-hand side, left-hand corner. He out there with this little skinny ass. Because he didn't vote it. These people voted for this communist. I want you to understand, these are not people who voted against Mamdani and voted for Cuomo or voted for Sliwa. These were black men who was like, I ain't voting for them crackers. I'm gonna vote for Zoran. Yeah, he's from Uganda. He's like one of us. He's an immigrant like us. They voted for Mamdani because he's an immigrant. That's why they voted for him. They're immigrants. He's an immigrant. They voted for him. And now he's screwing them over. They got what they deserved.
Queens, who turned out for what they say was an emergency response to the mayor.
All 12 of them.
Mamdani, you are out your goddamn mind.
To the mayor, with the greatest respect, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
To close a $5.4 billion budget gap, the mayor says he has two options: convince Governor Hochul to tax the wealthy, which he refuses to do, or raise the city property tax rate by 9.5%.
Faced with no other choice, the city would have to exercise the only revenue lever fully within our own control. We would have to raise property taxes.
Right. I will have to raise your property taxes to create a Department of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I have to raise your property taxes to create a $2 million fund for LGBTQ emergencies. I have to raise your taxes to create a $500 million budget for free daycare. You have to do that? You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do any of that. None of that stuff is necessary. None of it at all. But he's ready to make you lose your home to do it. And yeah, I voted for him because he's an immigrant like me, man. Yeah, because you's a damn fool.
But the city council would have to approve the measure, and Council Speaker Julie Menon says the proposal should not be on the table whatsoever. Meanwhile, Hochul, for her part, is unlikely to soften her position as she faces re-election this year.
You are giving only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I got to increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics.
In Queens,
Yes, you are.
Stefan Kim, Channel 7, Eyewitness.
Yes, you are. You are part of the negotiation.
Yeah, because this is what happens when you got a bunch of immigrants who come here and they have no intention of assimilating into American society. They're looking at themselves like they're a separate group. Yeah, screw them over. Don't screw us over. They're not even asking for him to stop doing this shit on behalf of all New Yorkers. They're just asking for him to do it, to not do it to them. And that's the problem.
The middle class blacks.
Homeowners in Lawndale are searching for answers
To less tax story coming out in Chicago. Black residents in the streets protested about property tax increases. Why? Because of woke Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's also a socialist, his tax to rich agenda that drove businesses and rich folks out of the city, and that led to less tax revenue. Therefore, in order to get the money to pay for the free stuff, they had to go to the middle class blacks.
Homeowners in Lawndale are searching for answers together tonight about their property tax hikes. One man says he received a bill this week that was $977 more than what he paid last year.
There's been a divestment in this community for the most part, but it seems like now that people have found an interest in reclaiming the neighborhood, now it's like we're being taxed for prosperity.
Just today, our property tax bills came in, and folks are seeing the average increase in North Lawndale is like 100%.
Yeah, you are being taxed.
Yeah, but the part they're forgetting to tell you is, hey, we voted for this. We saw a black face who told us that he was going to steal from the white man and he was going to come bring the money back to us in the form of free this, free that, and free whatever. Yeah, the white man got on, dog. Now you looking stupid because you footing the bill. I don't feel sorry for them at all. And you know what they'll do? They'll keep voting Democrat. They'll keep voting Democrat until the Democrats put the foreclosure sign on their front door, because that's how we've been trained. Look at black women, hopelessly loyal to the Democrat Party, getting screwed over eternally by the Democrats. They'll keep voting for them, though.
But they're actively trying to decrease, to get rid of property taxes.
He's talking property taxes.
Yeah, other states are trying to get rid of property taxes, but the blue states is raising property tax. See, the red states are smart. They know at the end of the day, you're going to go to where you could keep more of your money in your pocket. So the red states are trying to do this. They're trying to bring all the American citizens, they're trying to bring them to the red states. Here's the problem. The people who lead the blue states go to the red states, keep voting blue. They keep voting blue. But at some point, there's going to have to be an awakening in this country as to what's real and what's bullcrap when it comes to socialism.
Now, if you can't get some other tax increase from the governor, what are you doing with property taxes? You're going to phase them out completely?
Well, first of all, didn't he run on affordability? How is it more affordable to raise property taxes on working class people? I just don't understand that. So what we're working through, and we got to work with the Florida legislature, is phasing out the property tax for Florida residents and their primary, what we call a homesteaded property. And the way it works in Florida is that's about a third of all the property tax revenue, because, you know, these local governments are taxing investment properties, snowbirds, second, third homes, businesses, all those other things. And so the context of this is in 2019, local governments in Florida brought in $32 billion in property tax revenue. Now they're bringing in $60 billion. So So if you go back to that 2019 level of spending, you give them population growth, you give them the inflation, even add a couple percent a year on top of that, you're not even close to 60 billion. So they're obviously getting a lot of this because property values have gone up. A lot of people moved to Florida, particularly during the COVID era, but people need relief. And what's happening, Joe, is you've got older people that have been in their home for a long time. They've had protection against valuation increases for 30 years. They're not downsizing because if they go from a 3 or 4 bedroom home to a condo, the tax basis is going to be so much higher that they can't afford it. So that hurts young people having access to be able to do it. So it needs to go on the ballot. It needs to get 60% of the vote, and we'll be working on that through the balance of the year.
That's the difference, folks. That is the difference between voting Democrat and voting Republican, especially at the local level. So for all these black pill, right-wing people, there's no difference between votes for Democrats and Republicans. They're all the same. No, that is a lie, especially at the local and state level. They're not the same, right?
Yeah, Greg is 100% right. Black people throw out this bullshit. Oh, 2 wings on the same bird. Da-da-da-da. Black people only say that so they can have an excuse to continue to vote Democrat. If there are 2 wings on the same bird, why are you voting 89% for the Democrat Party? Black folks vote for the Democrats so completely. Our vote is not even, doesn't even count anymore. People be like this. Oh, they want to erase the black vote. Guys, the black vote has already been erased. People talk about, oh, you're supposed to be moving to Africa. Well, yeah, our vote don't even matter in America no more. Think about it. I want you to think about it. If you're dumb enough to still think that the black vote counts in America, you're dumb. And the reason it doesn't count is because it's going 100% almost to one party. Black people voted 89%, or no. Black people voted, I want to say, I think 24% of blacks voted for Trump. So black people voted like 76% for Kamala Harris, right? Black women voted 89% for Kamala Harris. Black men voted like 85% for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris still lost. Your vote means nothing. Your vote means nothing. You're giving one side almost 100% of your vote, and they're still losing. That's the numbers that the Democrats are looking at. We got the total nigga vote, and it still ain't enough to get us over the hump. Do you think that if they would have got the 24% of blacks that voted for Trump, do you know that Kamala still would have lost? If Kamala Harris got 100% of the black vote, she would have lost. I promise you that. I promise you that. If Kamala Harris got 100% of the black vote, she still would have lost the election. So what is your vote counting for? Now, if you split your vote between the two parties, 50-50, now that might give you a little bit more leverage. I would say the Republicans probably will need the black vote more next year because I believe they're going to, next election, because I believe they're going to lose a significant part of the Latino vote over the ICE stuff. The Latinos who can't get their emotions out of the way. But even now in California, there are Latino voters' rights groups raising up, telling Latinos, hey, we know you mad about what's going on with ICE, but do not vote Democrat. Latinos are trying to flip California red, just so you guys know. They're trying to flip California red while we still dumb and stuck on Democrat. And the more we stay stuck on Democrat, the less our vote counts. But there's one last thing I wanted to show you guys, if I can pull this up. I'm going to go to Google for this. I want to show you this. And this is going to give you your last. I think this will be like the nail in the coffin for the New York stuff. who fled communism debates New York. Professor. Let me see if it pulls this up. That's video. Yeah, so there's this guy. I think his name's like Martino or something like that. He's literally going around to places where people are preaching socialism. And you know, he left Venezuela. He had to flee Venezuela because of communism. And so he goes around now as a socialism survivor, and he debates people in America who are out here saying, yeah, we need socialism. He's been through it. So he's in New York, and he ends up debating this black dude who it sounds like an immigrant as well, who is a professor at NYU. And he's an advocate for socialism. Understand the whole push for socialism that started in the colleges. That is being pushed in the colleges, even at Christian universities, even at conservative universities in conservative state. You have liberal teachers like this buffoon telling your kid, indoctrinating your kid with socialist propaganda. But I want you to notice what this professor says to this dude. This dude's a socialism survivor who left Venezuela. Watch what this idiot, who probably ain't never lived under socialism, says to him.
About the socialist program that he is proposing, Zoran Mandani.
I'm for it all the way. I'm a professor.
At NYU, I'm assuming.
Yes.
What do you make of the socialism system being tried in other countries in the past and failing miserably?
I don't think it failed.
I have a friend here who is from Venezuela himself.
I'm from Venezuela. I am very worried about the rise of socialism in the U.S. because those are the policies that made me escape my country.
You know what? Your country is completely different from over here.
The guy said, I'm worried about socialist policies taking over America because this is what made me have to leave my country. This dumbass says, well, your country way different from over here. What does it matter? Socialism has been tried in China, Russia, everywhere. Everywhere it's been tried, it felt miserably. Doesn't matter where you are. If you have a little bit more democracy or something, it might take a little longer to destroy your economy. But Venezuela was one of the top economies on earth before Hugo Chavez took over and declared himself to be a socialist, and he destroyed that country. Check this out.
And I think socialism will destroy it, just like it did Venezuela. We were democratic too, remember?
Yeah, but I don't think anybody ever been as democratic as the U.S.
Do you support the proposal of government grocery stores?
Of course I do.
Venezuela is the largest peacetime refugee crisis in human history. 9 million people.
Wow.
9 million people left Venezuela. 9 million. And these idiots are like, yeah, we need to do more. We need to be more like Venezuela. I remember when Bernie Sanders was praising Venezuela. 9 million people left Venezuela to escape socialism. And the United States has people in this country saying, yeah, we need to be more like them.
All because of the socialist policy. Government grocery store. Believe me, you didn't want to eat that food. I had to line up for hours. It was a line for blocks and blocks for a grocery store. And that's my fear.
I'm always open to new ideas. We need to check.
No, you're a liar. He's ignorant. This guy's telling to your face, you want government grocery stores. You want all this stuff. You want to go line up in a line that's 5 miles long to get some bread and some eggs or bread and some potatoes. That's what a government grocery store looks like. This guy is a professor at NYU. He's making money. He's just also living in a very expensive city. But I promise you, this guy wants to live the high life. He definitely is up in those clubs, probably the gay ones. He's definitely living in New York, spending money. If you believe that somebody like this dude is ready to go live in basically abject poverty and be equal to a bum that's laying on the ground in front of Starbucks, you're lying. He's lying to you.
I'll tell you, I prefer the status quo over what happens in Venezuela.
It's all about money, my friend. Corruption.
Wait, what do you think the grocery store sells you food? For charity or for money?
For money.
That's not a bad thing. I think we need more free markets, not less.
What we need here, rent control. Stop raising the rent every year.
See, he's ignorant. I'm voting for socialism because I don't like the fact that my rent is high. Dumb dumb doesn't understand that the way you get the rent to go lower is by building more housing. It's the basic, it's economics 101, supply and demand. The more supply there is of something, the cheaper it is. If we got 1,000 people who want to rent an apartment and there's 2,000 apartments available, the owners are it's going to create competition among the owners of the means of production. It's going to create competition among the landlords to get your money. So they're going to keep lowering the price to lure you away from the competition and move in their place. Imagine you're one person trying to rent an apartment. There's 2 apartments available. This guy says, I want $2,000 for my apartment. Excuse me. This other guy says, yeah, I want $2,000 for my apartment too. You say, hey, which one of you guys can give me a deal? All right, I'll give it to you for $1,900. You know what the other landlord gonna say? He's gonna say, I'll give it to you for $1,800. You know what the other landlord gonna say? I'll give it to you for $1,700. No, I'll give it to you for $1,600. And they're gonna go all the way down till they get to about $1,200. And once you get them both down to the price you want, then you say, okay, now which one do I like the best? All right, I'll take this one. Now you got the apartment for $1,200. If you increase supply, when demand is high, if demand is high and supply is low, the price go up. If demand is low and the supply is high, price go down. Simple. This idiot think we need to overturn the government so that he can pay cheaper rent. And this is a professor. This guy is teaching your kids shit. You entrust your kids' brains to this moron. And like I told you guys, the socialists and communists, they're going to try to make you think that everything they're doing is to help others. It's not. At the end of the day, their entire motivation is selfish.
More apartment units available. That means we need to let people build. New York City builds less total housing units than Austin, Texas, a city that is 1/8 of the size of New York.
New York City builds less housing units than Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is 1/8 the size of New York. So why do you think rent in New York is high and rent in Austin, Texas is cheaper? Well, Austin, Texas is building housing. I'm living in Long Beach, California. As they continue to build high-rise apartment buildings downtown Long Beach, the rent around downtown is going down. It's going down because supply is increasing and demand is decreasing. So now the apartments are lower. They wanted like $3,000-$4,000 for these apartments down. Same apartment down the street that they wanted $4,000 for, that apartment now they're trying to rent it for $2,800. Why? Because supply is increasing, demand is going down. Also, people are moving to other places with cheaper rent. So they're like, damn, now we got to compete. Understand? Very, very simple economics. Not something you need to overthrow the government for. Okay, so you guys been rocking with me. Have we reached our goal? Hey, we got to reach one donation goal this week. We are at 1 on the donation goal. We need 4 more. Thank y'all ahead of time. I appreciate all y'all. But anyway, let's talk about this. So we're switching topics now, guys. So, guys, listen. Hidden Color 6 is coming out. Hidden Color 6 is coming out. Tariq Nasheed has been defeated. The FBA horde has accepted that they're not going to get reparations. Is so pathetic that the Somali immigrants have now taken over the reparations movement. The Somalis who committed fraud in Minnesota have now hijacked the reparations movement. Tariq Nasheed is not fighting against them. He's not fighting for FBA. He's allowing them to take it. And he's banking on another Hidden Colors mockumentary to keep him going for the next fiscal year. If you don't believe me, let me play this for you.
We have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand an immediate help to evictions so families are not pushed to homelessness during the crisis.
So now they want to halt evictions, right? How the hell did ICE cause you not to be able to pay your rent when y'all argue that 80 or 85% of y'all are legally here? Y'all legal. How the hell does ICE getting rid of illegal immigrants create a situation where legal immigrants cannot pay their rent?
Our community deserves accountability. Our community deserves safety. We need also justice for those who lost their lives defending the community. Leave programs.
There were no Somalis who lost their life defending no community. Who needs justice are the American people who y'all stole $8 billion from.
To our criteria of small business owners, not those who make 200,000 and above. We don't make that much amount. We have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand an immediate help to evictions.
So they want reparations for Somali business owners, talking about we don't make that much money. Well, if you didn't want to lose money because ICE is doing ICE raids, stop fighting ICE, getting in the street, trying to fight and protest and all this shit, trying to wrestle. This is a scam. Anytime something happened, the Democrats have trained these people to like, oh, we need eviction, we need rent, we need rent freezes, we need reparations, and we need reimbursements for business. Bro, this is bullshit. These people look at America like a glorified piggy bank. And the Democrats have trained them. Oh, when something don't go your way in America, the first thing you need to ask for is for a halt to the rent. Why does this woman need a halt to, why do these people need a rent freeze? That's my question. What the hell has ICE did to warrant you guys getting a rent freeze? Of course, nothing. Of course, nothing at all. But this is just what they asked for. They want free cash grants to immigrant businesses under 200,000 after they've stolen billions. They want to stop all evictions, plus they want free rent for like the next 2 years. They want reparations for the trauma that they experienced during the ICE operations. And they want a government apology and quote unquote accountability. And they want ICE banned from their neighborhoods. And they want justice for the martyrs who died in the struggle against ICE. And I promise you, Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Kamala Harris, they'll get on their knees and kiss these people's asses just to try to get the votes. They'll do it. They'll do it. They don't care about America. They don't give a damn about America. And Tariq Nasheed them for all the shit they talked about reparations, they've given up on reparations. Tariq is back to making fake documentaries. The other grifters, they're all creating YouTube channels, fleecing these idiots. Bro, even Phil Scott, he's created a new channel called the Emancipation something, where he's just on there talking that FBA shit, and he is just, man, they're eating it up, dude. They are eating it up. And I'm telling you, I can't never call myself FBA, dog. I cannot be that slow. You have to be literally slow. Understand me. You have to literally be slow to sit up and fall for this bullshit FBA reparation stuff. Y'all didn't get no reparations. And now it's devolved into the WABO movement. It's the WABO movement now. Understand me. The FBA movement has devolved into WABO movement. Now they're running around talking about we the original Indians and we was here first. Y'all did all that hooping and hollering for this 5 to 6 years just to end up at Dane Calloway? Y'all could have followed Dane Calloway from the jump and not wasted y'all time with the reparation stuff. They went from demanding reparation in the form of cash payments or else. Now they're on the internet arguing about we was here first and we the original Indians, bro. You can't make this shit up. That's where all this was headed. That's where all this was headed. Come on, man. And this is where they are. We the original Indians. I got some of my friends talking that shit now. I'm like, what? I love this comment. The Indians were peacefully taking turns using the fishing and hunting grounds. Yeah, no, they were slaughtering each other to the last man. Taking what they wanted. Taking what they wanted. Oh, this the Phil Scott stuff. This guy has the new thing, and it's called the Emancipation Media. Come on, bro. And look, I can't knock it. Big Phil, you know, he getting the views. He getting the view, getting more than me. He getting the views. Not only do black people want to be taught, not only do they want to be indoctrinated with ignorance and lies,
and on top of
they will pay. Black people will pay to be indoctrinated with ignorance and lies. This guy got almost 400,000 subscribers. And this is a new channel. I never even heard, I didn't even know he had this channel until today. This is a new channel, Emancipation Media. Phil can't miss, man. Phil know about it. He got this YouTube shit figured out to a science. The Emancipation Media, right? The voice of truth, sovereignty, and unapologetic black consciousness. This is where news, history, and cultural clarity meets elevation. What we deliver: deep dive reporting with a Black American-centered lens, truth telling that exposes injustice and demands accountability, empowerment through education, history, all this stuff. Watch, think, question, ride. They're not thinking or questioning anything. You question this shit, you even think this stuff won't make no sense to you. But this is the news for black people. Myron Gaines seems bothered that Black America doesn't consider him black. That's news. That's news. That's the most pressing issue in the black community. And people be like, why you don't talk about pro-black stuff? Pro-blacks don't want to talk about nothing serious. The minute you start talking about serious shit, they don't want to listen to you no more. Brandon, we don't want to hear that shit. We want to go back and romanticize and trauma bond over the KKK. I'm like, I'm just not that guy. I'm not that guy. Who gives a shit what Myron Gaines thinks? He's nobody. But hey, for some of y'all, he's everything. I don't give a damn about him either way. You know what I want to talk about, which what I think would be a better pursuit for FBA dudes like Phil Scott. Why y'all don't talk about these Trump accounts? You know you got to actually go open the account up for your kid. Why y'all don't talk about these Trump accounts? Making sure black people is getting their kids' Trump account open so they can receive the $1,000 initial government seed money and the subsequent money that's going to be invested and given to them by the corporations and other entities on a year-to-year basis. Let's talk about Trump accounts. We talking about who was here first. The Native Americans is building casinos. I believe in our city. I believe right here in Long Beach where I live, I believe they're about to build a Hard Rock casino. Not casino, but a Hard Rock hotel or something right here in Long Beach on Ocean. You know the Seminole Indians own Hard Rock Hotel now. The Indians are building. While you're over here talking about who was here first. Let me tell you something. Who was here first ain't got shit on who was here last. Who is here now and who gonna be here last? That's what matters. That's what matters. This crybaby ass Westmore from Maryland, he's just a straight buster. Crying, Trump didn't invite me to the White House. I thought you hated Trump. Thought you was the enemy of Trump. This is ridiculous. But yeah, we still worried about the wrong thing. I give Phil credit though. Fleece these idiots. Feel like shit. I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna get rich off y'all. I'm gonna throw y'all every bone y'all want. And y'all gonna jump on it and gnaw on that joint till y'all teeth fall out. And he gonna laugh all the way to the bank. I just can't get on the internet line. I don't, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm ignorant. But there's just something about me where I just do not like lying to people on the internet. It ain't never, it's never gonna be that serious for me to where I'm about to get up here and just like sacrifice my integrity and mess with my own conscience. Thank God I still have one. And just sit up here and lie to people about nothing, man. It's stupid. You're not an Indian. Some of y'all might have some Indian in y'all blood. Very few. Either way, it's something that a DNA test could figure out in like a couple of days. It's nothing to get on the internet and argue about. But yet here we are arguing over it like idiots. It's a sad situation. But yeah, so FBA, Tariq Nasheed reparations stuff is over. Go buy Hidden Colors number 17 or whatever number this is. Tariq's Revenge. And I hope it does something for you. I hope it gets you wet. But all genders are black. Same as Liberal Grooming Party of Canada. What are you talking about? Democrat. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's based on. Okay. So let's hit our final topic, y'all. Trump gets straight rejected as the Supreme Court rules against his tariffs. So I don't know if you guys know, but Trump has been using tariffs, or at least the threat of tariffs, as a leveraging tool to open up negotiations to renegotiate trade agreements with foreign nations. Now, I feel like the tariffs have been a great success because Trump has basically restructured global trade with the United States using the threat of tariffs. So I kind of think the mission is already accomplished on that, but Trump was still imposing some of these tariffs on people, and he was using these tariffs as leverage against certain countries that were trying to act like they didn't want to cooperate. But now, in a surprise 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court ruled against Donald Trump, and they ruled against his tariffs, basically saying that the ultimate power of the purse and to impose tariffs is something that should rest with Congress, not the president of the United States. Now, many people have mixed emotions about that. Some people feel like the president is the chief executive and he should be able to, hold on one second. So many people feel like the president as the chief executive should have power to impose tariffs, but many people feel that that power should rest with Congress. They have the power of the purse. They have the power to allocate funds. That's kind of like where their strength lies, right? But ultimately, with me, I have to side with the Supreme Court. The power of the purse rests with Congress. And although the president has the power to impose temporary tariffs that last up to 150 days, any extended tariffs can only really be imposed by Congress. Now, the Republicans have the majority in Congress and the Senate. So it should be nothing but a formality. Okay, take these tariffs away, go in, vote on new tariffs, and done. Boom, it's cracking. But because we have too many rhinos in the Congress who are Republicans in name only, maybe it's going to be difficult for Trump to do it. But I want to play a video to kind of give a little overview of what's going on. And then I'm going to...
But first, breaking tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court hands President Trump...
I think I explained why they overruled. And I'm going to tell you, I'm an American at the end of the day. Love Trump. Trump's my guy. But the Supreme Court is right on this. Trump, he was doing big things with those tariffs. I loved it. But you got to stay constitutional at the end of the day. Power of the purse rests with Congress. And we just kind of got to hope and pray that they do the right thing. So people say, oh, you never go against Trump. I'm not going to go against the Constitution on behalf of Trump. I just can't. I'm not going to do that. At the end of the day, that literally will undermine what it means to be an American. So I'm not doing that. But let's play this real quick.
But first, breaking tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court hands President Trump a major defeat. Justices ruling 6-3. The president does not have the authority to impose tariffs under emergency powers. President Trump says the justices who voted against him are, quote, a disgrace to our nation, fools and lapdogs for rhinos. And he is working on ways around the ruling. He says he'll have a solution. We have Fox team coverage. Peter Ducey has additional reaction to the decision from the White House. We begin tonight with Fox News chief legal correspondent, anchor of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Breen. Good evening, Shannon.
Good evening, Brett. Well, the president says he is deeply disappointed in the court, but he's not deterred. And while he's moving forward with Plan B, he's not missing the opportunity to take some shots at the justices who did not rule in his favor today.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country.
Those harsh words aimed at two of the president's own Supreme Court nominees, along with the other four justices who joined them in finding the president does not have the power to levy tariffs under the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, or IEPA. Chief Justice John Roberts writing for the majority. The president asserts the extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration, and scope. He must identify clear congressional authorization to exercise it. Finding none, the majority concluded, we hold that IEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. One of the president's nominees, Justice Gorsuch, pointed to Congress as the rightful authority on something as sweeping as these tariffs. Quote, the day will come when those disappointed by today's result will appreciate the legislative process for the bulwark of liberty it is. Another one of the president's nominees, Justice Kavanaugh, disagreed with the court's finding and called out the majority for failing to spell out what happens next. Quote, the court says nothing today about whether, and if so, how, the government should go about returning the billions of dollars that it has collected from importers. But that process is likely to be a mess. The group that successfully represented a number of small businesses in this case says it'll establish a centralized database to help businesses navigate efforts to get refunds through the Court of International Trade and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. So we're still awaiting other rulings from the court on the boundaries of the president's executive power, including things like whether he can fire a member of the Federal Reserve Board. There's also the upcoming case on birthright citizenship. It's going to be argued April 1st, and we now know the president won't be in the courtroom because, Brett, he is scheduled to be in China.
Okay, Shannon. But first.
Yeah, so at the end of the day with the Supreme Court, I feel like the rulings and the interpretations have to go with what's in the best interest of the American people. I really don't, of course, yes, Congress has its powers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm a judge, I'm thinking, does this hurt the American people or does it help the American people? Because the Constitution was written for a certain reality for a certain time. But when you are dealing with politicians who literally are working as agents of other countries to hurt America and to fight against Donald Trump tooth and nail over anything that he tries to do, I think that needs to be taken into consideration. You can't just be like, well, this is the way it was meant and intended to be, because let's be real. George Washington and them would have hung these dudes. A lot of these Democrats and stuff and these rhinos, George Washington and them would have hung these dudes for treason if they even found out that they were taking money from foreign interests. but we let these dudes pay to play. We let these other countries pay to play. The biggest reaction I cared about was the reaction of Scott Bessent, who is Trump's chief economist. He's gonna know about how this affects things even more than Trump does. So I want to hear what he has to say.
Thank you so much, and welcome to Eye on Politics.
Good to be with you.
Nice to be with you. So after the Supreme Court ruled today that President Trump's tariff policies under the emergency law are illegal, so the president also announced an additional 10% tariff. Can you talk to us about this?
Sure. So what the Supreme Court announced today was...
Oh, okay. So we kind of doing this a little out of order. Trump came back after the Supreme Court ruling and imposed a 10% tariff on every country around the globe, basically, who hasn't made a deal with us, right? He can impose that tariff for up to 150 days, and I think he could do it again immediately after. That was his response to the Supreme Court. Y'all, these countries, y'all not getting off the hook. Y'all still gonna pay these tariffs unless y'all negotiate a deal. And on top of that, I'm looking for ways to put more tariffs on you guys without the approval of Congress. Shouldn't even be necessary, because Congress should have stepped up and said, we'll vote to keep Trump's tariffs in place. But why would they do that? Half of them are literally working for China and other countries, right? So Trump has figured out a workaround the ruling for now. But Scott Bessent is going to explain in a little bit more detail what their ruling meant.
Law are illegal, so the president also announced an additional 10% tariff. Can you talk to us about this?
Sure. So what the Supreme Court announced today was that under the IEEPA authority, which President Trump was using for the reciprocal tariffs, that the U.S. government is not allowed to collect funds. The president does have the authority to implement an embargo, but he can't even collect $1. So that was the Supreme Court ruling. So what he has done is with USTR, U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, he is going to file what is known as a Section 122 global tariff, which gives the U.S. for 5 months the ability to put a 10% global tariff on any goods coming in from anywhere in the world.
Is that in addition to the other tariffs in place, or it's just 10% for now?
It is addition to what are known as 232 and Section 301 tariffs, so auto, steel, industry-specific tariffs, or tariffs related to certain practices. So to be clear, about half the income that the Treasury took in last year was from the IEEPA tariffs. About half was from the 232 and the 301 tariffs.
Okay, yeah. So the 232 and the 301 tariffs, those are on industry. Those are industry tariffs. You're bringing in things that are made by foreign industries, steel, cars, things like that. And it can even cover. I don't know if it can cover food and stuff, but basically, it's a tariff that you put on countries that you're allowing to come in and compete against your homegrown domestic businesses in an industrial capacity. So the Supreme Court did not overrule those. Those are still in place. And what Scott Bessent is telling you is about half of our revenue from tariffs came from that, and then half came from the IEEPA tariffs. And I think that's the tariffs on food and wine and all that type of stuff. So basically, one thing I got to tell you with this proves the lie that the Democrats were saying when they were saying, oh, we're not making any money from tariffs. That's costing us money. Well, if we weren't bringing in any money from tariffs, then what are they talking about? We need to refund. Oh, of course, G Money. Yeah, it's going to hurt us Americans. We were getting screwed, and they basically sent us back to get screwed even harder. But the ones that affect the industries are still in place. So at least our industries will still have a little bit of an advantage. But Trump has already put the 10% tariff in. So for the time being, we should be okay.
And we believe that the 122 tariffs will make up for the IEEPA tariffs, and that will give the Commerce Department and the U.S. Trade Representative time to do studies to potentially increase the tariffs under the 232s and the 301s. So at Treasury, we believe that the 2026 tariff take will be virtually unchanged.
Unchanged.
Yep.
So how quickly, though?
So Scott Bessent, and I trust Scott Bessent, he's basically saying the income from the tariffs ain't gonna change. They believe that. I mean, this is leadership. I don't know about you guys, but I feel good having true leadership in the White House. I mean, Scott Bessent is gay as all outside, but he's not letting that dictate what he does. He's not becoming like a political activist. I'm gay, so I don't like Trump. He's doing his job. I respect that. I respect this guy a lot, immensely. He makes Americans feel safe and comfortable knowing that their money in their economy is in the hands of capable people. What the hell were Biden's economists doing when they said, yeah, Joe, print $14 trillion worth of money, or $4 trillion, print 4 trillion new American US dollars and hyperinflate the economy up to 14%. You know that's what caused inflation, right? Joe Biden printing money that we didn't have during COVID when nobody could even go and work or people weren't even buying houses or anything. That's what caused inflation. But when I listen to Scott Bessent talk, I say, this guy is explaining it to me in a way that I can understand. So I'm not just, walking in the dark. And I kind of, it kind of makes sense of it to me as an American citizen. That's what you want.
Will this new 10% global tariff take place? Is it immediate?
3 days.
In 3 days.
Yep.
3 days.
And the president said
clear answers. When will this tariff take place? 3 days. This is what we think. Income should be unchanged.
that he is expecting to have lawsuits filed by the people who were charged the tariff under IEEPA, the emergency law. If the government has to ultimately repay those people, what impact would that have on the U.S. Treasury?
Well, we'll see. First of all, the Supreme Court pushed it back down to the International Trade Court, so they haven't told us that we do have to repay. As Amy Coney Barrett said during the hearing that I was at, it'll be a mess. But we'll see whether we have to repay. We will see what the duration of the repayment is. The full amount that we took in last year was about $130 billion. Treasury has more than $900 billion cash on hand.
Come on, dog. We took in $130 billion, and this Treasury has $900 billion of cash on hand. They doing their job. Y'all talking about, oh, the economy, we broke. No, it's called tightening the belt. It's called not frivolously spending and printing money and hyperinflating the economy. This is why inflation is cooling. Because they're not putting all this money out into the economy, devaluing the currency like China does. But yeah, tie their ass up in court. If it was up to me, they wouldn't get shit back. Why would you pay them? You're gonna give them a refund when they paid you so they can have access to your market in these American dollars. But everywhere you go, they have tariffs on United States products. I promise you. Listen, go to Africa. Go try to buy some Johnson & Johnson's baby oil or buy some Johnson & Johnson's baby shampoo in Africa. That shit's $24 for the regular small ass little bottle. That's because tariffs. Those countries say, hey, if the United States company wants to come into our country and compete with our companies that make these same products, we're gonna put a huge additional tax on it to incentivize people buying our product. So if you want to go in there and buy some jelly, you're not going to buy the Smuckers. You're going to buy the Kenya brand because the Smuckers is going to be $10 to $15 more expensive than what it costs in America. So you buy their brand. That's what they want. We're going to offer you the American brand, but we're going to offer you it at a hyperinflated price, and we're going to offer you our brand at a much lower and cheaper price because we want you buying our brand, at least trying our brand. You're going to see all the stuff in other countries that you see on the American shelves. It's just going to be 3-4 times higher than what it costs in America. Why can't America do that? Why can't America incentivize people to buy American products? It's not fair and it's not right. And I'm telling you, if I was Trump, I would go to Congress and say, you guys need to reinstate every tariff that I put on these people.
In North Texas, address the economic club of Dallas right before.
Yeah, I think Scott Bessent gave us some insight. That was cool. But yeah, so Supreme Court ruled against Trump. You guys said that that's impossible. They all work for Trump. You know, the same old bull crap. But Trump, as any good business owner, you know, leader, CEO does, he's finding workarounds, and he's going to find it because he actually has the interest in doing it. He's going to do his job as president. He's working every day. Like Granny said, leave him alone, get out of his way, let him do his job. But I see people like celebrating. Yeah, we got to pay all that money back. Americans, dummies, that's your money. That's your money. I never thought I'd see the day when Americans celebrate the Supreme Court ruling that Americans going to have to give money back to foreign countries who already take advantage of America, get aid from America, all types of stuff. It's just pure stupidity. It's pure freaking stupidity. But guys, listen, it's been a beautiful night. Shout out to my girl, Michelle N, for the $5 holler in the Cash App. Guys, it's still not too late to contribute to the channel. If you don't have super chat ability, there definitely is the Cash App and the PayPal pin to the top of the stream, to the top of the comments. Shout out to everyone who contributed to the stream. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. I love you all. I'm loving my new setup. Guys, tell me, are you still with me? Tell me what you think about the new setup. Do you like this setup? Is it cool? Very simplified. I got like the little mic arm thing, but I've had this for a while, but I just wasn't using it. But now I'm using it. What do you guys think about this setup? It's pretty cool to me. Yeah, you like the setup? You like the sound? Does the sound good? We over here, yeah, we can cook now. We can just sit here, pump out videos. We good. Guys, go watch my pre-recorded videos that I put up. There's 3 of them. The views are not great, but that's because something I did that kind of messed with my algorithm, which I shouldn't have did. But guess what? They're there. Go check them out. Go watch them. Bless the channel. Show love. Share. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already done it. Anybody who's new in the building, I appreciate you being here. You said it looks like the old ones. Right. Is that good? It works. What you mean it looks like the old ones? It's not as clear or what? You know what's crazy is I'm looking at it on my big screen right now too. I got mine. So it looks cool. I mean, to me, it just looks very basic. It doesn't look super like defined or super like high def. But what I'm learning, man, is like people aren't even tripping. Like if y'all watching this on y'all phone, y'all screens is so small that y'all not even gonna be able to see all the definition anyway. So if you shoot this in 1080 or 720 on a small screen, it look damn near the same as it ain't 4K, but it ain't far off. So I don't look at videos and be like, what's the video quality? Like, I've never done that. I think most of our YouTubes are set to automatic anyway. When it talks about the video quality, it's just automatically to conserve energy and stuff and save data. Yeah, it's basically no one cares. Yeah, exactly. As long as the thing I love is it's not giving me any glitches. It's not pausing. It's not, and I'm looking at it. So it's not, I wave my hands. It ain't like freezing, it's good. So shout out to Tariq Nasheed in the building. Shout out to the bro with the $20 holler in the super chat. Appreciate that, bro. I gotta talk to you about something too. You gotta admire her, bro. I gotta hook you up. But yeah. So we in the building. Hey man, good news. My bro got his passport today. My brother, he got his passport, so I gotta take the bro on a trip on a field trip out to Africa, man. So I might have to plan something for all the homies, depending. Thank you, my brother. I'm not gonna lie. I love being able to watch myself on the big screen while I'm actually recording. So I don't have to be like hitting y'all up like, oh, is it cool? Is it glitching? I hate that. That was one of the biggest things. It used to like mess with me mentally too. Like I used to hate having to do that. So now I see everything. Everything's set up. Everything is good. You know, my lights clear. You know, we're good. You guys see me. I ain't gotta go. It ain't gotta be nothing like super out of this world amazing. But I got a dedicated space, so I'm really happy. I don't know if you guys can tell. I know I look tired as hell, but that's because I'm still my nights and days are still mixed up from me being on the other side of the planet. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm trying to sleep at night because you guys don't know. I've been like staying up all night and then like sleeping during the day. But you know, during the day I can't like just sleep because I got stuff to do. So I gotta like sleep in spurts. That's why I'm looking all whooped. That's why I got these bags looking like they could carry $50 worth of groceries. No, it's all good. I asked y'all, but I just had to make the adjustment though. You know, it's all good. We in here, but it's beautiful. Just having a dedicated space and all I gotta do now, sit down, record. That's it. That's it. But I'm gonna make some more investments in the channel coming up here real soon. There's some things I want to do now, especially now that I got the dedicated space. I can put more stuff over here. I want to get like a desktop and all that. But yeah, I'm glad y'all here, man. And guys, oh shoot, you know what, guys? If you guys have suggestions, this is what I need. If you guys have suggestions on things that I should cover, right? I want to give you guys my email. You could send it to our Africa plan at gmail.com. I want you guys to start hitting me up on things you want me to cover. Tell me what you want me to cover. I'll cover it. Send it to right here, our Africa plan at gmail.com. You see some, hey Brandon, cover this. Send it to me right there and I'll cover it. Because I'm trying to gear my content more to what the audience wants. What I want to talk about and what the audience wants me to talk about, sometimes it'd be two different things. But I'm just trying to gear it to give y'all more of what y'all want. Because we're gonna build this channel up this year. We're gonna get it we're gonna get it to its rightful place on Pride Rock. Trust me and believe me. I'm on it now. I'm ready. I feel super motivated. But thank y'all so much for watching us. I appreciate y'all. Everything y'all do for me in this channel. I say that all the time, but I really mean it. Ain't no fakeness. I hope y'all enjoyed this show. Till the next time. Peace.